So, welcome to the other side. What do I mean by that? It's like we all have a list of things we desire and things we would like and things that we want. Whether that's money, whether that's a better relationship, whether that's travel, whether that's a new car, whether that's a new house. We all have these things that we want. But what is actually on the other side of getting that thing that you want? If you have more money, what's really on the other side of that? You probably want more money because you think it's going to make you happier, right? You probably want a better relationship because you think it's going to make you happier, right? You probably want anything that you want because you think you're going to feel better once you have it. Is it at all possible that you're already on the other side? That you can already feel what you think you're going to feel if you go and get that thing? Nothing has the power to make you feel any particular way. You choose what you're going to feel based on what you decide things mean, based on what you think is valuable, based on what you think isn't valuable, based on what meaning you decide events have. Nothing in your life means anything before you decide that it means something. So we all think that more money or better conditions or a better car or a better relationship or living in a better country would make us happier. But you can have that happiness right now. Even with self-help and spirituality and metaphysics and tools and techniques and modalities, don't you do it thinking, okay, if I can just do this enough, one day I'll get to feel good. If I just have 10 sessions, or I just do some kind of healing work, or whatever it is, don't you take on whatever that work is, whatever that modality is, whatever that tool is. Don't you take that on from the feeling that you're not already there. From the sense that whatever it is you want to feel or experience isn't already here now. And so you undergo this work or this training or this class or this session or whatever it is, and you go, okay, well, if I do all of this, I'll finally get to what's on the other side of all this stuff I need to fix and all this stuff I need to change and all this stuff I need to improve. But is it possible you are already on the other side? You can do all of that work if it's fun for you. You can do sessions and healings and all this different stuff if it's fun for you. But is it possible that you're actually already on the other side? Is it a misperception and an illusion and a delusion that there's anything wrong with where you're at right now? Is it a misperception and an illusion and a delusion that if you were simply on the other side, things would be better? That if you had more money, things would be better. That if people liked you more, things would be better. And we're constantly seeking different things. But how often are we actually present with our own consciousness, with our own awareness? what would happen if you would become so present in this moment that you would really come to know what is actually true and how much of what you have believed has been a misperception. I was reading this book, The Way of Mastery. It's very Christian and is very good. If you can suspend any judgments you might have of the Christian element of it, it is so profound. And he's talking about awareness as if it's a pool of water that you keep throwing rocks into, and it causes a splash and a ripple and all that stuff when you keep throwing rocks in. And I just absolutely loved that imagery, because a lot of us are standing on the shore, throwing the same rock in over and over. Okay, here's the one about stress about money, and it makes a huge splash every time I throw it into the water of my awareness. Every time I think about money, there is total chaos in my world. Every time I think about money, there is stress, there is anxiety, there is a massive freak out. As if we're not the ones creating all of that. When the reality is, nothing's going wrong for you with money or anything else right now. And it is a total misperception that anything has ever gone wrong, anything will ever go wrong, or anything ever could go wrong. You're already on the other side of fear. You're already on the other side of shame. You're already on the other side of suffering. Anything that you want in your life, you think it's going to move you out of pain and out of fear and out of suffering and out of shame into joy and self-acceptance and a greater appreciation of your life. It is not. You are going to actually admit that you're not in fear, that you're not in shame, that you're not in pain, that none of that has any basis in reality for you, and that you are already joyful, that you are already in possession of everything that you desire, that everything that you desire to possess exists inside of you and inside of your consciousness. And the only reason you don't appear to have it, when you don't appear to have it, is you are not resting your awareness on having it. You are resting your awareness on lacking it, which is a misperception, which is a delusion, which is totally made up. You already have and are everything you desire. But you don't let your awareness rest on that very often. What if you did? What if everything you desire in your life, what if everything that seems to bubble up from out of nowhere inside of you that you suddenly desire, what if every single one of those things you were willing to be present and look at it and go, what is it that I think this will actually provide me? What's on the other side of this? What feeling do I think this is going to give me? And is that already possible? Is that already here now? Does it really have anything to do with the things or the people or the circumstances. There's a completely different experience available to you right now without your having to do anything. If you will appreciate that everything that is occurring within your awareness, and you have complete and total choice on where to place your awareness. What are you placing your awareness on right now? What have you been placing your awareness on all day? And how much of that is seeing yourself the way you'd like to see yourself, and seeing your life the way you'd like to see your life? And how much of that is actually misperceiving and pushing away the life you say you want and the person you say you want to be? This stuff is a lot simpler than we allow it to be, because we focus all of our energy and all of our awareness on misperceiving what is. And then we wonder why it doesn't change into what we want it to be. Because even if it changed into what you want it to be, you would still be there misperceiving it. You would still be there judging it other than what it is. You would still be there thinking there's anything for you to feel ashamed of, thinking there's anything for you to feel sad or angry or upset or bitter or resentful about. When you will not let go of any misperception you're holding on to, it doesn't matter what actually shows up, because you'll keep right on misperceiving it. You have to forgive yourself of all your misperceptions, of all your judgments, and come to understand that you're creating everything, that you're experiencing everything, and that it can be exactly what you desire to be, as soon as you stop insisting that it's not what you desire it to be. And any time you continue with the misperception and the judgment that anything is other than you would like it to be, you are invalidating yourself as the one who created it, and you are invalidating your experience. That's so not necessary. It's a little bit addictive, but it's not necessary. Would you forgive yourself once and for all for every judgment you've ever come to, that you've used to tell yourself things are not the way you wish they would be? Everything could be far greater than you have ever hoped, dreamed of, or wished for right now, if you would stop insisting that it's not what you want. That alone would be enough. You wouldn't have to do anything. You wouldn't have to get a new job. You wouldn't have to exercise more. You wouldn't have to undergo a deep spiritual transformation of any kind. You could just let go of the need to insist that anyone or anything is other than you would have it. Right here, right now, everything is exactly as you would have it. Are you willing to receive it, or do you want to shove it away and shove yourself away and hold yourself apart and pretend to be separate from what you have created? Would you let yourself feel that whatever it is you've been wanting and wishing for and hoping for, would you let yourself feel what you think you're going to feel when you finally have that thing that's going to make you feel it? Nothing can make you feel anything. You choose exactly how to feel about everything that occurs. And you choose to persist in certain feelings rather than choose different ones. You've all had, I'm sure, at least one relationship in your life, whether if it was with a family member or a friend or a romantic relationship, some kind of relationship where you were really mad at the other person. And you knew that you could put that down and just get on with your life and not have to keep reiterating how angry you were. But were you willing to do that? Or did you go, no, I have a right to be angry. It's right for me to be angry. My anger is justified, so I'm going to keep being angry. Knowing you could stop, but you didn't actually want to. If we're willing to admit we have certain feelings about ourselves as we think of ourselves that we haven't been willing to put down, is today the day you stop insisting that you feel the way you feel about yourself, that only more money or the perfect relationship or the bigger house or the bigger car or the bigger vacation would remedy? Is today the day you choose to forgive yourself for that feeling and just release it? Because you already exist in the reality where you know it was never really true for you. But will you let yourself exist there? Will you let yourself have what you say you actually want? Or do you want to hold on to the memory of your misperception of what you don't want? I'm willing to bet at least one of you on here has spent some time in your life wishing that you had more money. Do you want to hold on to the consciousness and the awareness and the misperception and the delusion and the illusion that you don't have as much money as you would like? Or would you like to set that down and allow yourself to feel that right now you have more money than you could ever possibly need? That money is no longer a factor that dictates what you get to experience. And in fact, that money was never in charge of what you get to experience. Do you want to keep persisting in the delusion that money gets to dictate what you can and cannot experience? Or would you like to allow yourself to be present with the reality that money has absolutely no power over you? Because the only reason you want money in the first place is so that you can feel like you are powerful enough to have what you want. You are already powerful enough to have what you want. Do you let yourself know and feel that? Or do you willfully pretend that you don't have the money and you don't have the power and you can't have what the money and the power would give you if you could have them? There is an entirely different world here now for you to explore. Do you really want to keep playing with the same thoughts and feelings you had yesterday? The same thoughts and feelings you had last week? The same thoughts and feelings you had last year? The same thoughts and feelings you've had for a decade? Or would you admit to yourself, wow, I can just be done with all of this and I can choose whatever I want. It's already here now for me to choose. I don't have to, step by step, labor and suffer and sweat and bleed trying to build it. It's already here now. Look back at the beginning of whatever journey you were on, when you realized, okay, life as is, my experience is not what I'd like it to be. That's a misperception to begin with. But it got you started on this journey where you go, I'll do anything. Show me who to talk to, show me what to do, show me the tools, show me the techniques. What healing do I need to do? What guru do I need to follow? Whatever it is for you, look back at the start of that journey. And it's a great journey. But how much of it is based on the misperception that there is any work that you need to do in order to be what you are now? How much of that was, okay, I'll do this, 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 and this, and then in the future, I'll get to be what I already am. If I could just learn and learn and learn and learn, one day in the future, I'll get to be what I already am. I'll get to have what I already have. I'll get to know what I already know. And there can be a sense of judgment about that. But it's a great journey. It's a fun adventure, pretending that you don't know that you can have it all. If you just knew from moment one you could have it all, and you never forgot that you could have it all, or you never pretended to forget that you could have it all, or you never had the misperception that you couldn't have it all, you wouldn't have had the journey that you've had. It's great. You don't have to forsake the experience you've had just because it was a misperception. You can be present now to the awareness that you can have everything, that you are already everything, that there is nothing that you lack, that there is nothing that you need, that it is actually all arising in your consciousness and your awareness, so there is no one and nothing to keep it from you in the first place. But if nothing and no one can stop me from having it, why do I not feel like I have it? If I already have it, why do I never feel like I already have it? Because you haven't chosen to feel like you already have it. You have to choose to be present and admit that you already have it. That you are already what you already are. You have to be present and choose to feel that, to admit that, to know that. Whatever sense we have that anything is missing is a misperception. Nothing is missing. Nothing is wrong. Nothing needs to be fixed. If you would like things to get better, understand with yourself that things do not get better. You appreciate them more or you appreciate them less. In order for things to get better, you are called to appreciate them more. You do not need to get better. Truthfully, there's no better for you to get. You just appreciate yourself less, or you appreciate yourself more. You love yourself less, or you love yourself more. You forgive yourself less, or you forgive yourself more. You release yourself less, or you release yourself more. You are already totally free. But how much do you try to hide that from yourself with everything you create? Forgive yourself for playing the game that you wanted to play. You don't need to heal. You don't need to understand the story more. The story was never real in the first place. It was just the way you decided to interpret every experience. Ask yourself, what do I truly desire? And whatever comes into your awareness, What is on the other side of that? Oh, just joy and happiness. But I can have that now. I don't really need an object to let me know I'm allowed to feel joy and happiness now. I don't really need a person to walk into my life and let me know that I'm allowed to feel good about myself. I don't really need a vacation from what's going on to admit that I'm allowed to feel anything that I desire to feel, and that the entire time I have been alive, I have been feeling whatever I choose to feel about everything that I experience. I don't need anyone to explain to me how. I've been doing it for as long as I can remember. I've just been pretending I didn't know that I was doing it. Your life is forever changed when you will admit that everything you encounter is your own creation in your consciousness. What have you been creating that you would like to let go of, that you would like to appreciate more? Your consciousness is this infinite space, full of an infinite number of realities and universes and worlds that you get to occupy. And you've been choosing a very specific reality to occupy. But it is not the one true reality. It's not set in stone. It's no more real than you are making it. You could choose anything else to experience. Simply by allowing your awareness to rest on what you would like to experience. Joy is easy to experience if you will establish that you would actually like to experience it. If you're sitting and thinking something that does not feel joyful to you, and you're fixated on that thought, you can almost guarantee you're not actually choosing to feel joyful. Because the thoughts don't cause you to feel anything one way or the other. But you persist in the misperception that your thoughts get to control how you feel. And then you persist thinking negative things. At any point in that process, you could interrupt it and say, actually, I'm choosing to feel totally joyful. But we don't do that. We go, well, I'm thinking something really horrible, so I better feel really horrible, and I'd better make sure really horrible stuff shows up in what appears to be the external world so I can reinforce feeling horrible, which is what I'm choosing. At any point in any of that process, you could drop all of that and commit to feeling joyful regardless. And that's very easy. It is a lot more difficult to maintain the illusion that there is anything to be miserable about. And we are expert at it. But you have to be expert at it. Because if you weren't an expert at it, you wouldn't be able to maintain the act in the face of how joyful everything is and in the face of how joyful you are. Do you know how much work you have to put into pretending to be miserable when you are not that? Do you know how much work you have to put into all of your delusions and your illusions and your misperceptions when none of it is actually true? You have to put in so much work to believe those things. That's why it feels so exhausting to believe them. Because if you want to believe one untrue thing, you have to set about from the moment you wake up until you go to bed at night, making sure you don't bump into anything that would make you question that belief. And if you ever saw yourself for a single second in the day, your belief in the negative would be shattered. How much do you have to avoid looking at yourself and seeing what you actually are in order to maintain this illusion that you are weak and powerless and stuck and helpless and sad and in pain? You've got to hold your eyes shut as tight as you can to never see yourself. Because if you actually see yourself, you will know that none of the things running through your head that suggest that you have any reason to feel bad about anything, if you see yourself for a single second, you will know none of that has ever been true. You will be relieved of everything you have ever believed about yourself if you will see yourself for one moment, if you will be with yourself for one moment. And you'll notice that when you're sitting and going, how do I get some more money? You're not really present with yourself. When you're going, who will come along and make me feel better about this horrible life that I have? You are not really present with yourself. If only I could get out of here for a week and go be on a beach somewhere, I think I would be fine for another year or two of garbage. You're not really being present with yourself. And if you would be present with yourself for one moment, it would be hard to hold on to all of these things that are not. Everything you desire is already occurring right now. Do you let yourself be present and know that? Or do you look for where that is not happening? Do you look for where, if only that could be true? Everything is created from your energy. You are not separate from any of it. And if you will be present with yourself, and if you will enjoy and appreciate yourself, that energy will be in everything. And when you want to pretend that you hate yourself, that energy will be in everything. People talk about the law of attraction. It's much simpler than that. When you love yourself, that energy is in everything, and everything is capable of loving you. When you hate yourself, that energy is in everything, and everything is capable of hating you. Be present with yourself for a single moment and ask, which of those would I actually like to choose? And any moment where you find yourself thinking something you don't want to think, or feeling something you don't want to feel, or fighting with yourself, do I want to persist in this? Or do I know what's going on? And am I ready to choose what I actually desire? It's pretty easy to choose since it's already here, now. You don't have to choose it and then plan for it and then work for it and then struggle for it. And maybe if you're lucky, you'll get to have it right before you die. Or maybe if you're holy enough after you die, you'll get to go somewhere that is the experience you desire. You can have it right now. Don't delay yourself. Okay, everybody. That's all for today. So long.